Thank you for coming to the operating levy presentation tonight. I'm Jeff Sampson, the superintendent of schools. I'll be talking through the operating levy information as there's a vote coming up here on November 4th. If you have questions, please make sure that you stop me. Since we're a small crowd tonight, you can feel free to ask questions then. So, we'll get started. Whoa. That went quick. So on November 4th, Cannon Falls Area School District voters will be asked to support a $950 per pupil subject to an annual increase of the rate of inflation operating levy to support the day-to-day operations of the school district. A levy, remember, is for learning or day-to-day operations, and bonds are for buildings. And so this is an operating levy to help support the day-to-day operations. And if it does pass, this would provide needed operating revenue in the area of $700,000 to $950,000. To help frame this conversation, we do have a short video for you to watch that'll help kind of guide our conversation tonight. And I'm just going to jump out of the presentation so I can put in the video here. And this is about a 3-minute video that we'll be watching.
After headlines across Minnesota declared record school funding in 2023, you may be asking yourself, why are so many school districts making budget cuts and going to voters for more funding? Here are the top reasons Minnesota schools are struggling to balance budgets. Number 1, inflation. Families aren't the only ones feeling the impact of rising costs. For school districts, the costs of labor, health insurance, property insurance, and school bus transportation continue to rise. The 2023 inflationary increase to the general education formula is a step forward, but it doesn't make up for decades of underfunding and failing to keep up with rising inflationary costs. Number 2, unfunded and underfunded mandates from the state. When it comes to some of the most costly things schools have to pay for, it's the state legislature, not the local school board, who makes these decisions. From implementing new instructional strategies to increasing curricular requirements to providing unemployment benefits, there are decisions made at the state level that local districts must follow. While the state may offer one-time funds to help pay for some new requirements, the ongoing costs are often the school district's responsibility. And number 3, the changing role of schools in our communities. The needs of students are different than they were 10, 20, or 30 plus years ago. From mental health support for students, specialized learning assistance, family resources, and career programs to help meet workforce needs, schools have taken on additional responsibilities to meet the needs of their students and community. When you add rising safety needs, aging buildings and technology, and declining birth rates, it's clear why Minnesota districts struggle to balance their budgets. School funding is complex, with the majority of funding coming through the state in the form of general education aid. Schools also receive funds for specific categories that can only be spent on certain items. Additional needs are then covered by property taxes. In other words, just because the state is providing us with more dollars doesn't mean we can use those dollars wherever we like. Each year, we tackle the challenge of balancing these funding sources with our increasing expenses to build an effective budget that meets student needs. When our student needs exceed state and local funding, we may seek additional support through a referendum. As you can see, there's more to the story beyond headlines of schools receiving record funding, inflation, unfunded mandates, and a changing role for schools. Funding schools is an investment in our students, community, and future. Please reach out to your elected officials and share your story so they can help do their part to make sure our students and our schools are receiving the resources they need for success. Visit our website to learn more.
All right, as we're going through this presentation tonight, if you feel that I go too fast or you didn't catch something and you want to go back and review it, this presentation is on our school website. And so You'll be able to go through and go at your own pace if you wish through the presentation. But moving on here, the need for additional funding isn't new and it is real. Since I've been here over the past 7 years, we've had to make reductions to address our budget challenges. And a lot of that is aligning teacher and support staff positions to our current enrollment, which has increased class sizes, it has reduced department and building level budgets, and delayed some maintenance projects and facility updates. Last year, we did go out and ask the community for an operating levy increase as well, and that failed at the ballot box as well last year during this time frame. As I mentioned before, the need is real. After the levy failed last year, the district made $800,000 worth of cuts coming into this school year. And some of those items that were eliminated were teaching position, coaching, and advisor positions. We increased activity fees for facility use and activities. We reduced and eliminated some technology and curriculum subscriptions, restructured administrative positions, delayed bus replacement schedules, eliminated a bus route, and reduced other district budgets. Despite all these challenges, we still have a fantastic staff here at Cannon Falls Area Schools that do everything great on a daily basis to make sure that your child is being educated and educated well. Here are some of the great things that we have going on in our classrooms currently. Cannon Falls Area Schools is a leader in the area in test scores when we're looking at school districts that touch us physically on our boundaries. Our reading and math scores have been above the state average for the past 5 years. Our career tech education courses are preparing students for high-paying and high-demand jobs after graduation. The community supported our bond levy 3 years ago to renovate our CTE area to help our students succeed in this area. And if you haven't had a chance to go and look at that area, I would encourage you, you can come talk to me and we'll go take you on a tour of that. Our food service program is a recognized leader in the state. The Department of Education has recognized us, especially in the area of our farm to school program, where we partner with local businesses to bring food from their local farms into our cafeterias for our schools to eat that is healthy and nutritious for all of our kids. U.S. News and World Report again has placed Cannon Falls Area High School in the top 20% of high schools in the state, and we have been recognized this way each year since I have been here, and even before that. Cannon Falls Area Schools offers competitive academic and enrichment programs that other school districts do not offer. We have to remain competitive not only with our rural area school districts that touch us, but also with the South Metro area school districts that are on our northern borders. We just have to be competitive with them and offer similar type programming to make sure that we are attractive enough for families to come here. We are committed to hands-on and experiential learning throughout all of our classes and grade levels. Our graduation rate is above the state average, and we also have National Merit Scholar semifinalists and finalists in quite a few of the years since I've been here, and that is a highly recognized academic award on a national level. So we are very proud of our academics here in Cannon Falls. So why the need for voter-approved funding? The video touched on this a little bit, but if you look at this chart, this is a chart from the past 20 years or so. State funding has not kept up with inflation. And this is just basically a chart on inflation. The bottom number here is what our current funding level is per pupil at $7,481 in base aid. If the aid would have kept up with inflation, we'd be at $8,951 per pupil. And this gap here is what is hurting the school district, because funding up until this past year did not come in indexed to inflation. So we are always behind in inflation. And that $1,470 per pupil equates to almost $1.5 million per year, over those 20 years that we are short in funding. And the school district currently is asking for $950 of this $1,470. So we feel that we can be very efficient with those dollars and be responsible with that amount of money. So why the need for voter-approved funding? As in the video, it talked about state-approved mandates that schools had to follow. Schools were given historical money a couple of years ago, but they were also given historical mandates to go along with it, which the state doesn't really want to talk about. A lot of those mandates were either not funded or severely underfunded, and those that seem to be fully funded, like paid family medical leave, where the employer pays for their half and the district pays for their half. We don't get reimbursed for our half that we're paying in, but we also don't get reimbursed for the substitute teachers that have to come in for staff when they are going out on medical leave. And here are some other examples of mandates that the school is either not funded for or not fully funded for. The funding shortfall means that most districts rely on local taxpayers for support to help cover that gap. 72% of school districts utilize an operating levy currently in the state of Minnesota, and our operating levy hasn't increased since 2004. Our current operating levy is at $500 and it is not indexed to inflation, so it is worth under $300 per pupil right now, as inflation has kind of chipped away at that $500 number. So how do we compare in total taxes to our area school districts that touch us? Currently we are the red bar here, and as you can see, we're kind of in the middle to even lower half on this chart. If we would pass the current operating levy, we would jump up over Hastings, but still be behind Goodhue. And Goodhue and Farmington on this list are going out for operating levy increases as well this fall. Another way to look at this in an expanded view is these are more districts in southeast Minnesota, and how do we compare statewide with a ranking? The yellow bar up here is the average for the state in per pupil funding, and that's at $10,708. Cannon Falls currently is at $9,452, and we rank 283rd out of about 330 school districts. So we're definitely in the bottom 25% of funding in the state of Minnesota currently. So what will be on the ballot? When you go into the voting booth on November 4th, or if you are still able to go vote early prior to November 4th, the question will be the Board of Independent School District number 252, Cannon Falls Area Schools, has proposed to increase the school district's general education revenue by $950 per pupil, subject to an annual increase at the rate of inflation. The proposed new referendum revenue authorization would be that levied in 2025 for taxes payable in 2026 and applicable for 10 years unless otherwise revoked or reduced as provided by law. Shall the new referendum authorization proposed by the Board of Independent School District number 252, Cannon Falls Area Schools, be approved, yes or no? And by voting yes on this ballot question, you are voting for a property tax increase. Part of this question, when you look at it, it talks about indexed to the annual rate of inflation. And one thing to make note of here is that the school district does not set how much that rate of inflation will be. That'll be on the consumer price index set by the federal government from the previous year. And so that is how much that would be indexed to inflation each year. So how does this work for your specific property in Cannon Falls? Operating levies are based on referendum market value, which is basically house, garage, and 1 acre. It's different than bonds, as bonds include non-homesteaded ag land, and in a different class, not only with ag land, but also businesses. But under operating levies, everybody's treated in the same class. So you need to know what your estimated market value is for your property. And on this on this calculator sheet here, and on this sheet, the average house in the city of Cannon Falls is about $375,000, which is going to be about a $325 increase to your taxes, or less than $1 a day for the year. If you have a different amount that you want to put into a calculator, we do have a calculator on our website under the operating levy page where you can put in your actual estimated market value into the calculator piece and then hit calculate, and that'll give you your specific increase if the operating levy would pass. So what happens if the levy is not successful? If the levy is not successful on November 4th, the school board has already made $700,000 in cuts for this coming year and has advertised what those cuts would be so that the public knows ahead of time what would be cut if the levy does fail. And as you can see, it's a pretty extensive list, including eliminating teaching positions, charging for in-town busing, reducing budgets further, increased facility rentals and season pass fees, increasing participation fees, reducing golfing staff, reducing other staff positions like administrative assistants, custodians, and food service. Probably the biggest thing that's on this list that people are talking about is the implementation of a 4-day school week. That is an option that the school district does have as part of those $700,000 of cuts. What does that look like? We haven't gone far into the weeds on a 4-day week yet, but basically it would be school Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday, with the 4 days that were in session would be extended by about an hour each day to make up for that 5th day. So let's talk a little bit about voting. Where do I vote at? Because this is a special election, we have combined all of the voting places in our school district, including the townships, into one voting place, and that's the city of Cannon Falls. So the only place that you can vote for this election is at City Hall in Cannon Falls. You won't be able to vote in your township areas. Absentee voting is still going on at this point, and it goes through November 3rd from 8 to 4:30 p.m. And again, absentee balloting is at City Hall. On election day, still the only place that you can vote for this election is at City Hall. And those hours are from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. that day. If you wish to review this slide deck or even look at more information on this operating levy, please feel free to visit our school website at cannonfallschools.com, where we have an operating levy webpage currently available. And at this point, we've come to questions. Does anybody have questions? All right, nobody's stepping forward here. So we will say that there's no questions, but if you do think of any between now and election day, please feel free to contact me and I'd be happy to answer any questions, or if you think of one tonight as we're leaving, I can stick around for some questions as well. So again, thank you for joining us tonight, and please make sure you go out and vote. Thank you again.